All right, number one, determine what it is. So get those horizontal and verticals out of the way. Those are the quick ones. So WY starts it off. So we're at -4, that's a length of 5. YX, -3 to 4, that's a length of 7. Okay, right now, we have the area, because those are perpendicular. We have the area as 1/2 base times height, which is, which is 5 times 7, 7 times 5, 35/2. Okay, and nearest hundredth is 17.50 technically. Okay. Now for the perimeter, we still got to go find that by using our distance formula. Okay, or we could use Pythagorean theorem as I'm looking at, because it's a right triangle. We could do 5 squared plus 7 squared equals c squared. 25 plus 49. 25 plus 49 gives me 74. And the square root of 74, see if you can simplify that down. And 74 does not appear to go anywhere. So 74 appears to be the hypotenuse then, WX. Add them up. 5 plus 7 are like terms, so 12 plus the square root of 74 units. To nearest hundredth we go, plug it into your calculator. 12 plus the square root of 74. Nearest hundredth is 20.60. Now, by finding all that perimeter and area, we also determine what type of triangle we have. We could have said it's a right triangle at the very beginning. Pythagorean theorem works there. And then because we have 3 different side lengths, we're also going to say right here, it's a scalene right triangle, since all 3 sides different length. And WY is perpendicular to YX. Since the slopes are 0 and undefined, since these slopes are negative reciprocals. Okay. Then the midpoint of WX, oh, thank you.
Is that what you use?
Yep, you're cool.
Okay.
Thanks, Natalie.
Yep.
And then the slope, sorry, the midpoint of WX right here. Okay, that is where we take x1 plus x2 divided by 2 and y1 plus y2 divided by 2. So for W is located right there at, I'll put W up here since I don't have a lot of room. W is located at -3, -4. X is located at 4, -9. So x plus x. So -3 plus 4 is 1 divided by 2, so 1/2. -4 plus -9 is -13 divided by 2. So 1/2 comma -13 halves. If you can divide it. Fractions are fine. Is what I should say it's preferred, but it is also a nice decimal. Okay. Number 2, pretty much the same thing, but we have ourselves a quadrilateral. All right, -3, -2, -3, -2, 1, 4, 4, 2, 0, -4. Okay, so let's go through as we've been doing and find us some lengths. It appears to be a rectangle. So if it's going to be a rectangle, the opposite sides need to be the same length. So let's go through and again use our distance formula for AB. I'm going to start it off with. Okay, change in the x's. So -4 squared, change in the y's. Square them out. Okay, So 16 plus 36 is giving me 52. Simplify that radical, and that gives you 2 in the square root of 13. Go find BC. Repeat that. BC, change in the x's, squared, plus the change in the y's. So BC, change in the x's, and change in the y's. That gives me 9 plus 13, which is, sorry, 9 plus 4, which is the square root of 13. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing for CD and the same thing for AD. Now, I've already worked them out earlier. As I work those out earlier, I get opposite sides congruent. So right now, it definitely appears we're on the right track for rectangle, but we need to also talk about those slopes. The adjacent sides need to be opposite reciprocals. So find me the slopes for those sides. So for AB, rise over run, okay? So for AB, it's going to be positive something, so positive go up 2 up to 4, so rise of 6, then a run of 3 to 1, so that's a rise of 4, a run of 4, which reduces down to 3/2. BC, if this is truly a rectangle, we should get negative 2/3 for a negative reciprocal. Do we get that? Okay, we run to the right 3, we go down 2, and there we go. We have that same relationship happening on the other sides as well. AD is that, oops, AD. And also, we have the same thing happening for the other one, which is, whoops, that should be AD. And AB, I should be saying, gets the same relationship with CD. So because of that, we do have ourselves a rectangle. So let's state it is a rectangle since two pairs of opposite sides congruent. And then what makes it a rectangle instead of just a parallelogram is that adjacent sides are perpendicular due to negative reciprocal slopes. Okay, again, go through and find me the perimeter. Now, on the perimeter, as I walk it around, those are all square root of 13s. So we can combine all those. 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 1 is 6. So 6, the square root of 13. Punch it into your calculator. It says round to the nearest tenth. 21.6. Because it's a rectangle, we know base times height. So length times width, same thing. So 2 root 13 times 1 root 13. Okay, that gives me 2 in the square root of 169, which is perfect. And the square root of 169 is taking it back to 13, so 2 times 13 is 26 square units. It turned out to be nice, so I don't need to worry about the nearest tenth. Okay, keep practicing, then finding that midpoint of, in this case, AB. Add up the x's, divide by 2, add up the y's, divide by 2. So for AB, negative 3 plus 1 is going to give me, negative 3 plus 1 is going to give me negative 2, and negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 1. For the y's, negative 2 plus 4 divided by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. And the midpoint of AB then is at negative 1, 1. If I kind of glanced at that, yes, that would make sense, okay? All right, we'll pause.